Want to know the secret behind how high-value men effortlessly captivate women? It's not about looks, wealth, or flashy lines. It's about confidence, mystery, and knowing how to communicate like a pro. Stick around, and I'll show you the 5 game-changing strategies high-value men use to intrigue and attract women. Let's start with the first principle that sets high-value men apart when they talk to women. They avoid putting women on a pedestal. This is one of the most common mistakes that average men make. Think about it. When you idolize a woman just because of her looks, you send her a clear message. You see yourself as beneath her. High-value men know better. They treat women, no matter how beautiful or accomplished, as equals. This doesn't mean they ignore her beauty or accomplishments. It means they don't act like her achievements diminish their own worth. Women enjoy receiving compliments, but when they sense desperation or excessive admiration, it becomes a turnoff. High-value men strike the balance. For example, instead of saying, "You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen," they might say, "You have a unique energy. It's refreshing." That subtle compliment acknowledges her beauty without making it the sole focus. The key is to show appreciation without making it seem like you're placing her on a pedestal. Treating her like a normal person while still appreciating her uniqueness is incredibly attractive. This approach also builds respect. A woman feels more comfortable around a man who isn't constantly trying to impress her or prove his worth. When you don't act like a fan, she'll see you as someone worth getting to know. Remember, no woman wants to date her biggest admirer. She wants to date someone who challenges her, someone who sees her as a partner, not a prize. The second important principle is keeping the ego in check. Beautiful women are often used to hearing the same old lines and receiving attention wherever they go. This constant adoration can sometimes inflate their egos, and high-value men recognize this dynamic. They don't feed into it unnecessarily. Instead, they stand out by giving compliments that are thoughtful and meaningful. For example, let's say you're in a group setting and she makes an insightful comment. Instead of defaulting to a generic, "You look amazing," you could say, "That was a great point you made earlier. I hadn't thought about it that way." This type of compliment shifts the focus from her appearance to her intellect, showing that you're paying attention to more than just surface-level qualities. It's subtle, but it makes a lasting impression. Why does this work so well? Because it breaks the pattern. She's probably used to hearing compliments about her looks, but when you acknowledge something unique about her, you stand out. It shows that you're perceptive and that you value depth. This creates intrigue and makes her want to know more about you. And here's the kicker. When you're not overly eager to feed her ego, you naturally come across as more confident. Confidence isn't about being loud or flashy, it's about being secure in who you are. High-value men don't feel the need to chase validation from women because they already know their worth. They don't have to prove anything, and that's what makes them so magnetic. Now let's move on to the third principle. Focus on quality, not quantity. One of the biggest misconceptions men have is that they need to talk to a woman for hours to make a connection. This couldn't be further from the truth. High-value men understand that it's not about how long you talk. It's about the quality of the interaction. Think of it this way. Would you rather have a long, boring conversation that goes nowhere, or a short, impactful exchange that leaves her wanting more? High-value men choose the latter every time. They know how to make their conversations meaningful by focusing on substance rather than length. For example, imagine you're talking to a woman at a party. Instead of trying to drag out the conversation, make a genuine connection. Say something memorable, and then politely excuse yourself. You could say, "I've really enjoyed talking with you, but I need to catch up with a friend. Let's continue this another time." This leaves her intrigued and wondering about you. It's the art of leaving a little mystery. Speaking of mystery, this ties into another important point. Don't overshare. High-value men understand the importance of pacing a conversation. They don't spill all their secrets or talk endlessly about themselves. Instead, they let the conversation flow naturally and leave her curious. This sense of mystery is incredibly attractive because it creates anticipation. She'll be thinking about you long after the conversation ends, wondering what else there is to know about you. Next, let's talk about the fourth principle. Don't chase validation. This is a crucial mindset shift. High-value men don't seek approval from women, or from anyone for that matter. They know their worth, and they don't need constant reassurance to feel confident. Picture this. You're on a date, and instead of enjoying the moment, you keep asking her questions like, "Do you think I'm attractive?" Or "What do you think of me so far?" These kinds of questions immediately kill the vibe. Why? Because they show insecurity. High-value men avoid this at all costs. They let their actions and demeanor speak for themselves. Confidence is quiet. It doesn't beg for attention or approval. When you walk into a room knowing your value, people notice. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who carry themselves with quiet assurance. It's not about arrogance, it's about self-respect. When you don't seek validation, you create an air of mystery and confidence that women find irresistible. But let's be clear, not seeking validation doesn't mean ignoring her completely. It's about finding the right balance. Show interest in what she has to say, listen actively, and engage in the conversation. Just don't rely on her feedback to define your self-worth. When you're secure in yourself, it shows, and that's one of the most attractive qualities you can have. Finally, let's dive into the fifth principle. Embrace mystery. This might be one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. Why? Because mystery creates intrigue, and intrigue leads to attraction. Women are naturally curious, and when you don't reveal everything about yourself right away, you give her a reason to keep thinking about you. For example, let's say she asks you about your weekend. Instead of giving her a detailed rundown, you could say something like, "It was pretty eventful. I got to check something exciting off my bucket list." That simple statement leaves her wondering, what did he do? What's on his bucket list? She'll want to know more, and that curiosity keeps her engaged. Mystery also applies to your communication style. High-value men don't flood a woman's phone with messages or emojis. They don't reply instantly to every text. Instead, they keep things balanced and unpredictable. Maybe one day you send her a thoughtful good morning text, and the next day, you call her unexpectedly. This keeps her on her toes and adds an element of excitement to your interactions. But here's the thing. Mystery doesn't mean playing games. It's not about ignoring her or being inconsistent just for the sake of it. It's about being intentional with your actions and creating a sense of unpredictability that keeps things fresh. When a woman can't fully figure you out, she'll be more intrigued and invested in getting to know you. Now that we've covered the 5 principles, let's tie it all together with a quick recap. High-value men talk to women in a way that exudes confidence, authenticity, and intrigue. They avoid putting women on pedestals, they keep egos in check, and they focus on the quality of their interactions. They don't chase validation, and they embrace mystery to keep women engaged and curious. The beauty of these principles is that they're not about manipulation or tricks. They're about becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts women through self-confidence and genuine connection. When you focus on personal growth, self-respect, and meaningful communication, you'll find that your interactions with women become more effortless and fulfilling.